Reggie, I just sold my car online.
Let's go, Grandpa. Wait, you did?
Yep, on Carvana. Just put in the license plate, answered a few questions, got an offer in minutes. Easier than setting up that new digital picture frame.
You don't say.
Yeah, they're even picking it up tomorrow. Talk about fast.
Wow, way to go. So, about that picture frame.
Forget about it. Until Carvana makes one, I'm not interested.
Car selling made easy. On
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Trojan family, what's up? Welcome back to the USC LAFB show here on the LAFB network. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Not just a few hours ago, USC gained the commitment of former Michigan State defensive tackle Alex Van Sumeren. Thought it was a great pickup, a guy that can compete, played a lot of snaps for Michigan State, spent 4 years there, played a lot last year with 53 tackles, 1.5 sacks, and so on. So that was a nice addition. We were wondering if USC would add another defensive lineman, and just a few hours later, they have from the edge variety. So you get your tackle in Van Sumeren, and now you get your edge in former Penn State edge Zuriah Fisher. And this is an interesting one. I think, let me get through his accolades first, then I'll talk why I think it's an interesting addition. So, first thing that jumps out is this will be his 7th year of eligibility. He gets the COVID admission in 2020. He had a redshirt season in 2022, and then was able to gain a medical redshirt for missing all of 2024. But he played all of last year, so he finished the entire 2025 season coming off, obviously, his best year in college. Finished last year with 19 total tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, had a 69.9 pass rush grade according to PFF, and he finished with 30 pressures. Now, in comparison, when you look at pressures, Anthony Lucas last year, who obviously USC will be losing to the draft, finished with 23 pressures. And then Cam Crawford, and this is including the TCU game, finished with 22 pressures. And Braylon Shelby, also including the TCU game, finished with 29 pressures. So, pressure, you got to get sacks. Pressures is in everything, but pressures are what begin the disruption of plays, especially from the edge position. And Zuriah Fisher finished with the most pressures out of anyone on USC, when you look at it like that, with his 30 pressures. So I think this is a really nice add. 6'3", 258 pounds, really nice bend, really nice ability to get off the ball. And when you look at the USC edge group, obviously, like I just said, Lucas gone, Crawford and Shelby are your two starters coming back. That's it. Outside of all kind of young, new additions. When you look at, Jaden Ramos obviously is coming back, but, not any really playing experience. And then you look at this freshman class, like I've said many times, Luke Wafel is going to play next year. And not necessarily just by needing to, because of just not having a ton of players at that position, but I just think he's going to be that good. But it's not a very deep position group. And so adding a guy like Fisher, I think, makes a ton of sense, that can come in and add to that room that, frankly, just absolutely needs it. I mean, literally returning Crawford, Lucas, and Ramos. Those are your 3 returning guys. Now you add Fisher, who has a ton of, maybe not ton of experience, isn't the right word, just because of missing all those years, but is a veteran, is a grown-up, 7th year addition. So I think that is a really interesting move here, and he's not only going to bring some of that prowess to the room, but he's played in the Big Ten, played for a big program like Penn State, played around a lot of elite players. I know Penn State was down this year, but hey, they were in the playoff last year. He was obviously redshirted last year with injury. But this is one of those high upside, low risk signings, in my opinion. Now, I don't know what the cost will be. That'll come out eventually. None of these transfer portal signings are necessarily cheap. Anytime you get a guy in the portal, especially a guy that has experience, the going rate seems to be pretty high right off the bat. But when you look at USC's now 6 additions in the portal, I think you've got 3 basically quality, can compete to start right off the org. I think you have 1 slam dunk, probably 2 slam dunks with cornerback Jontez Williams at Iowa State. His biggest thing is just how healthy is he after the ACL last year. If he's fully healthy, he's your lockdown corner day one. And then when you look at Terrell Anderson, wide receiver, NC State, he's going to compete with Tanook Hines to be wide receiver 1, being a really productive receiver last year at NC State. I think those are your two kind of slam dunk big signings, like come in and start day one. And then you look at the next two defenders. When you look at Bryant, the running back, Devin Bryant, the linebacker out of Washington, third in tackles for Washington last year, productive player, doesn't quite have the talent ceiling of maybe some of the elite linebackers, but he's going to come in and compete right off the bat with Des Stevens and Jaden Walker and can certainly stop the run on those type of situations. Maybe not a 3-down backer, but certainly can play in those running first situations as he is a great run stopper. So you get that and that kind of a really quality depth piece that will push. When you look at Van Sumeren, same thing. Going to be a really quality, experienced piece on the defensive line. Probably will start some, but it's going to be a rotation piece with those young guys, but he's been there, done that. And then you look at the two kind of, or we'll say Carrington Pierce is more of a developmental piece. Brother plays here, local kid. That's kind of an addition to come back home in that regard. But then you look at, Fisher, and Fisher is kind of the flyer. He is the addition of, hey, this is a kid that has been in college for a long time, has dealt with some injuries, but if we can get him to reach his ceiling, then this is a home run pick. If he ends up being a rotational piece that never beats out Crawford or Lucas or Wafel or Ramos, and he's just kind of a rotation guy that comes in, I think it's okay. You added him more for that type of role. So in my mind, this was a good addition. There are some people that probably wanted USC to swing for the fences at edge. I think we got to have more production from Crawford and Shelby. We got to see more production from the edge in general. I mean, having 29 pressures as your leader on the team is not going to cut it in terms of that position. Got to have more pressures from the edges on that. But I think Fisher can give you that push. Plus, he actually had more pressures than anyone on USC, so actually had more production last season as well. So I think it's a good addition. It's not the big name, but I think it's a quality piece that can push and is not going to necessarily overtake some of those guys that USC I think truly does believe in. And I think they're just fired up about the guys coming in. As already mentioned, I think Luke Wafels, he's going to compete to start right away. I mean, you watch this guy. We're going to talk about him tomorrow, what he's doing already right now at the Navy All-American Bowl. Dude's a freak. I mean, Jamie Winfield and Luke Wafel are going to play next year a lot. And again, not out of necessity. It's because they're that good. It's because they're that solid of players. And so this portal, you get quality pieces that can come in and compete, but you're not like relying on them to do everything, which is good, which is what you want. So Zuriah Fisher, let me know in the comments what you guys think. They took him in, I think there was some investigative journalism by my man Fight on Rusty. Looks like he was at Mastro's over the weekend. I think he had some other visits scheduled. None of those happened. This was his only visit coming to USC. And as USC's done throughout this process, as they did throughout their recruiting process, basically locked guys down when they were here. Came here and visited. If they had other visits scheduled, not anymore. If you want to come to USC, commit now and let's get this thing done and get this thing moving and grooving ready for the 2026 season. And that seemed to be the case with all of their now transfer portal commitments. So another big one. Again, 6 now. I think we're close to the end of the road. We might see 1 to 3 more is probably what we'll see. I think maybe another backer. I know there's that kid out of Cal that just hit the portal and great player if USC can go after him. I don't know if they'll go after another D lineman now. I know this is technically D tackle versus edge. I don't know if they'll pick up a third D lineman though, another D tackle. We'll see. Offensive lineman, maybe if they want a little experienced depth. And again, we don't know what's really going on with Alani Noah, but that's probably it. Maybe a safety. I mean, we're talking 1 to 3 guys. It's probably, and they'll wrap this thing up. So we're getting to the interior of the portal. And clearly, yet again, with another 5 of the 6 portal players are defensive players. Clearly, USC has a plan for what's going to happen with the defensive coordinator position, or these commitments would not be happening if there was no plan in place. Especially when you're a kid that this is your last year. When you look at both Van Sumeren, Fisher, Jontez Williams, this is all their final year. They're not going somewhere that has no plan on defense for their final year for them to try to get to the NFL. So good move here. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We're here all the time. I appreciate all the love and support from you guys. It's been amazing, been overwhelming. So let's keep this thing rolling and keep this thing growing. And it's because of you that we can keep doing this. So appreciate you, family. As always, fight on. Hey, Trojan family, thank you so much for hanging out and watching the USC LAFB show. Before you go, let me tell you quickly about our friends over at Sleeper. Go right now, download the Sleeper app. It's the #1 sports app, not just for season-long fantasy, but they've got live pickers, they've got live stat updates, they've got a chat that you can chat with other users, plus the daily pick'em, which is a blast, or daily fantasy, whatever you want to call it. You go and pick 2 to 8 players across any sports. If you're talking USC, go choose J.D. Maiava in his next matchup. Pick more or less passing yards, more or less touchdowns. You stack those, and you can win real money. When you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code USCLAFB. You're going to get a match deposit up to $100. Put in $100, you get $100 free to play with from Sleeper. Put in $10, they'll match you that $10. So now you're sitting at $20 to play with. But also right now, for any new users, no deposit required. You get $20 free entry. You can stack both. You can get the $20 for free. Go make a deposit. Use USC LAFB. And now you've got a bunch of free money to play with right there on the Sleeper app. Check it out, Trojan family. And when you do, tell them the guys at the USC LAFB sent you.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.